My kids in elementary school were a handful. I mean, we were like on speed dial with the elementary school. And it was never like what we saw as serious stuff. So it wasn't acting out due to trauma or depression. It was rambunctious behavior, but the school didn't really like it. But Jim and I stayed the course with what we believed in terms of our parenting philosophy and how we dealt with it. And honestly, by the time they got to junior high, it all sort of settled down. And by high school, they were easy. So,
And what was this parenting philosophy you stayed the course with?
We believed a lot in natural and logical consequences, but we would always talk about that from a standpoint of like if they were having a tantrum or really acting out, it would be you need time to get control of your body, or you need time to get yourself together so that you can be around other people, because right now you're very difficult, you know, because of these behaviors. So we really focused a lot on behavior, on how it's perceived by others, how it affects your relationships. So we were really big on the idea that your children are people and they should be treated with respect. And your goal is to teach them how to reason and think as an adult, not just enforce. And, you know, there were things too that we would be like stronger, like safety things, you know, where this is non-negotiable. We didn't sweat little things. Like some people get really freaked out if their kids would talk back. We understood that was an expression of where they were. I mean, if it got too out of line, you know, they never cussed at us or anything, but you know, I understand you're really angry with me right now.
Yeah.
You know, like Caleb went through a thing where he would fire me as his mom. About 4 or 5, he said, "You're fired." And I would respond and say, you know, I understand you're really angry with me. I'm your mom and I'm always going to be your mom. But I understand you're really angry. I would also share with them sometimes, I always love you. Right now, I don't like how you're behaving. That sort of thing. But, you know, Jim and I think it helped. We were really on the same page. And I did work to raise them to understand, you know, we're all part of a society and there's a reason we follow certain rules. But I didn't raise them just to, you just do whatever the teacher says because you just, and the reason I didn't do that was, again, I wanted them to be a thinking adult. I didn't want them as a teenager to just follow all their friends because they were doing it. I also think there can be a risk when children are told to just follow and do whatever adults say, that can lead them into some situations that are very unhealthy for them. So I wanted them to think.
And can I ask, looking back now, some of the feistiness at school, can you see how it sort of turned into strengths?
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the feistiness, I can definitely see that both my children know who they are. And even when they have gotten pushback about that, whether it's from peer groups or others, they stay true to who they are.
Which we all kind of want.
Exactly. So when Caleb was I believe a senior in high school, he was in an AP environmental science class. And the teacher showed a film on animal experimentation or something. And then they were having a class discussion. And some of the kids said, well, I don't think we should experiment on animals. We should experiment on prisoners. And Caleb spoke up and said, well, that is not okay. That is unacceptable. And every other kid in that class, which was a bit concerning, talked about, no, that could be okay. And Caleb's like, okay, guys, you're talking like Nazi level stuff. We do not use other people, even when they're prisoners, to experiment on. And he finally got one other kid to realize, okay, that's a bad idea. But again, he was strong. He knew this is what I see as right and wrong. And even if my peers are going to be like, oh, he's like, I'm not going along with that. And he stood his ground. And yes, I've always been very proud of that. I want them to go into the world knowing who they are and having integrity and being comfortable speaking up, even when it is uncomfortable.
Denise, thank you so much. This was amazing.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.